I'm going to talk a little bit today about gifts. It is Christmas, that time of giving. We receive gifts, and, we get gifts, we give gifts, and God gave us a gift. God gave us His Son. Sometimes we receive gifts, and we think to ourselves, what were they thinking? Like, you've seen that little cartoon on Facebook, and the guy's at the counter, and the wife's the lady's gonna wrap up his gift he got for his wife, and she's like, that's a real nice iron you got for your wife, but you might want to go down to Sporting Goods and get yourself a helmet. But, these are the gifts that we give as individuals, and sometimes we get gifts, and, we just, thank you very much, and you keep on going, but there are many different types of gifts that we can receive. You may be seated. If you want to stand, go ahead. There's a lot of different gifts that we receive at Christmas. And, you can classify them, put them in categories. You can say you have the essential gifts. Socks, underwear, a new shirt, tie. The things that we need, the things that we get, some of us probably almost every year. But, you need those things. And then we have the eating gifts. We have our turkey dinner with all the fixins. We have the candy and the chocolate and the extra sweets and things like that we enjoy around Christmas. And those are gifts, too. Somebody put time into those to make those so that we could enjoy them. And then we have the entertainment gifts, and we all like these gifts, whether they're books or maybe a good movie, maybe tickets to a hockey game. Whatever, a game that we like to play. These are gifts that we get, and people give them to us, and we give them to others. And then there's those educational gifts. Sometimes we're not keen on those. But, again, they could be books or maybe some kind of a game or a toy, like, one of those science things that we get. But we receive gifts. And we like to receive gifts. I think I'm better at giving than getting, but, I don't mind getting them. Good thing I knew what I was getting this year. Because I was like, Mom, where's my gift from the body shop? She's like, well, I put it under the tree. It was a little bag. Here, my sister had kleptoed it. And then I was like, Mom, where's my coffee mug? Oh, they're still in the closet. If I hadn't known what I was getting, I'd never know I got shortchanged. And some people are hard to give gifts to. You just don't know what to get them. They're not, I don't know, maybe they just don't share a lot about themselves, so we find it difficult. And we want to get people something they'll use, that they want. We don't want to see it on the Sussex buy and sell in 2 weeks, where they're getting rid of it, because they didn't like the gift. No, we don't want that. So, we try to find out what they like. We talk to their spouses and their friends and their kids, and we try to find the perfect gift. And then if all else fails, we get gift cards. If we can't figure it out. In 2 Corinthians 9:15, it says, "Thanks be unto God for His unspeakable gifts." The unspeakable gifts of God. And sometimes we think, well, what are the unspeakable gifts of God? Like, we have the gift of healing, and we have the gift of prophecy, and we have all these gifts that we get from God. But what are the unspeakable gifts of God? And the first thing that comes to mind for me is that old song, "Joy Unspeakable and Full of Glory." Can you really describe the joy that you get knowing Jesus? Can you really describe it? Can you really share it effectively so that someone else really understands? I think that's almost what we would call an unspeakable gift. And then sometimes when you have to speak, whether it's from the pulpit or maybe you're at a men's breakfast or a ladies' meeting or a Bible study, Sunday school, and God drops something into your mind, and you're like, where did that come from? One of those unspeakable gifts of God. Because, I know I'm not that SMRT. Like, I'm not going to think that up on my own. Like, God had to drop that in my mind. And the circumstances He uses, or the books that you might be reading, or the people that you're talking to, and it fits together, it interlocks. Gift of God. The unspeakable gift of God. And other times, it's you feel to do something. I don't know, maybe you buy a book. You're at a conference, they have a table with books, and you look at them, and you're like, oh, this is an interesting one. So you pick it up, you take it home, and you put it on your bookshelf. And maybe it sits there for a year or two, and I've found myself in this situation that it'll sit on the shelf for a couple years. Then when I get it out to read it, it speaks to the situation I'm in now. Like, it would not have spoke to me as much or been as relevant if I had read it when I bought it. But now, as I go through the circumstances, I'm going through the situation, or I have the feelings and emotions that it's addressing, it speaks so much louder. And these are unspeakable gifts of God, because how do you explain those in our terms? So, personally, and I know as well as you guys, that we just need to thank God. He gives us gifts we need without us even knowing we need them. Because, like, we can never know ahead of time, like God knows what we're going to need. The gift that's going to be perfect for that time and that place. In Ecclesiastes 5:19, it says, every man also to whom God hath given riches and wealth, and hath given him power to eat thereof, and to take his portion, and to rejoice in his labor, this is a gift of God. This is a gift of God. Everything we have is a gift from God. Sometimes we may disagree and say, no, I worked hard for that. I worked, 90 hours at time and a half to get the money to buy that. But who gave you the strength to work the 90 hours? Who gave you the job so that you would have to be able to make the money? Who allowed maybe other things not to crop up to get in the way that you would have to spend your money on so you couldn't get what you wanted? These things come from God. And often we think they come from us. We're that good. We've got the ability, but God gives us that ability. That's not just something we end up with. There's a lot of people that don't have that ability to go out every day and to work a job, or to, sing or play the piano or do all these things. Those are gifts from God that we get. In James 1:17, it says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. God's not going to change. The gifts of God are without repentance. He gives you a gift, He's given it to you. He's not going to take it back. You can mess it up totally, and it's still your gift. You can be totally, unthankful about it because you're like, oh, man. But it's still your gift. God still gives that to you. He's not going to take it away because you didn't know what to do with it when He first gave it to you. He still gave it to you. Jesus is the gift that God has given to us. We can't put Jesus in a group like essential gifts, eating gifts, entertainment gifts, or educational gifts. The gift from God, this Jesus that we have, is all these things in one gift. You will never want for anything with Jesus. He clothes the lilies of the field. He sees the sparrow when they fall. He knows you, knows what you need, knows what you want. And it's not all about our needs. God knows what we want. And some things we get because we want it. We just want. We want that new shirt, or that classy looking tie, or the new suit, or the new boots. We just want them. We don't really need them. We've got other boots. But we want those. And God helps us sometimes to be able to get those. He's not a God that just holds back and just gives you the essentials. He's not just giving you socks and underwear. He'll give you some of the entertainment gifts too. The things that you want, a good book, a movie, maybe a night out with friends. He'll help you, give you those things as well. When Pastor was talking about New Year's resolutions, I was thinking, man, he's going to preach my sermon, or at least half of it. But I was thinking about 2022 and the resolutions that we make. There's a lot of people out there this year that didn't receive the gift of 2022. They didn't. So what are you going to do with your gift of 2022? They may have gone on to a greater gift, gone on to glory, but they didn't get this gift, the gift that we have. We have a gift of 2022. Now, you might think, well, 2021, could I re-gift that? Give it to somebody else? I really didn't like that gift. And unfortunately, some of the gifts that we get, we don't really like them, but they're still gifts, and we still need to use them. So, what are we going to do in 2022 with this gift called Jesus? This gift that we have, this gift that we can give away and give away and give away and still have. We can never give away too much of Jesus, to the fact that we would never have any left. It's kind of like I believe it was Elijah and the widow woman, and the oil and the flour never ceased. She made the cake for him and gave it to him as a gift, and she had flour and oil until the end of that famine, that drought, and her family survived because she kept giving it, but it kept refilling. So, are we going to hoard this gift to ourselves? Are we going to say, I got Jesus, and that's enough? Maybe we'll share it with our family and some of our friends, but just those close to us. We don't want to get out there. So, I would propose that as part of our New Year's resolutions, the resolutions we make every year, that we gift Jesus to someone. I know New Year's resolutions, New Year's was Saturday. How many starting their resolution on Monday? Yes. Well, I can't start my diet on the weekend. Got to start on Monday. I know New Year's was Saturday, but I'll start on Monday. Because, I got to clean up all the junk food I got for Christmas before I start. So I still got junk food, so I got to eat that first. But give Jesus to the poor. Give Jesus to the downcast. Give Jesus to your coworkers. To those who are lonely, to our friends, and even our enemies, give Jesus. We are not meant to hold on to this gift, but to re-gift it at every opportunity we get. And as the days roll by, as 2022, we get going, we're going to have less time to re-gift Jesus to those around us. We're going to have less time. 1 Timothy 4:14 says, neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy with the laying on of hands of the presbytery. Colossians 1:27 says, to whom God would make known what is the riches of the glory of this mystery among the Gentiles, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. That's the gift that we have to give others. That's the gift that we can give them, Christ in us, the hope of glory. What greater gift is there? So, and I know, I'm like everyone else. Sometimes I miss the opportunities to gift. It's like, somebody makes a smart remark, and then half an hour later you think of the comeback. That's how I feel a lot of the times. For some reason, I'm pretty good at the comebacks. But when it comes to talking about Jesus, it's like I didn't see the opportunity till it's 10 minutes down the road. It's gone by. And sometimes I wonder, why? Why is that? I don't know if it's the way my brain works. I don't know. Because sometimes I can come up with the good comebacks. But somebody starts down the line, and I'm thinking, well, why didn't I just intersect that into the conversation? To bring it around. I could have said something. But God brings those opportunities around and around again if we're looking for them. He's not going to say, oh, man, she screwed up again, and we're just not going to use her anymore. He'll bring that opportunity around to you again. And sometimes we just don't know what to do to re-gift Jesus. And sometimes you think, well, I'm not really good at talking to people. I'm kind of an introvert. I like to stay by myself. But, I don't mind doing other things like preparing lessons and working on, putting together workbooks and things like that. But that's still giving Jesus. Sometimes we give big things, like maybe we pay somebody's phone bill, hydro bill. They need it. We give them. We give Jesus in the form of our alms and our offerings. Sometimes we do smaller things, or what we think is smaller, but to that individual might be greater. We buy them a coffee and we listen to them. We give them Jesus in the form of a listening ear, someone to talk to, someone that's sitting right in front of them, someone that can point them maybe to a Bible verse, a scripture that's going to lift them up at the time. We can invite people to our house for dinner, lonely people, other people, friends, those who don't have a lot of friends. We can invite people out to church. You know, most of this, I know we're allowed 50%, but most of the time we still have some room, even at 50%. We can still invite 1 or 2 people. Maybe it's doing some work for them, like mowing their lawn, shoveling their driveway. I know there last summer, there was an elderly woman coming out of the superstore, and she kind of stumbled, so I walked up to her and grabbed her bags and walked her to her car and put them in. Now every time she sees me in the superstore, she calls me her angel. I'm thinking, yeah, no. I said, no, I'm probably fallen, if anything. But she recognizes me every time she sees me, and I'm her angel. It's like, But, you know, it's the little things that people remember. And then it does give you opportunity later because you have something to connect with. And for those of us who are, maybe we're kind of in lockdown because of health issues or our age, and maybe we're in a senior's home and there's just not a lot going on, prayer. Prayer is an enormous gift that you can give to somebody. You, through prayer, can go into rooms that I will never get to. You can say the right words that I will never think of. You can meet a need that I don't even know they have through prayer. And, you know, you may think that you're not able to do and you're not able to give, but pray. That changes lives. That moves the hand of God. Moves the hand of God where none of us can get to. You know, prayer can walk into that ICU when none of us are allowed in there. And could speak to that person and say just the right words or give them just the right feelings that maybe they repent before the end comes. Maybe they find Jesus, but it was all through prayer because you and we weren't allowed in there because they're in critical condition. And just be available. I think that's a lot of it too, is we get busy. I know myself, I can get busy. I got work and, you know, family, all the nieces and nephews, running them back for school, whatever. We get busy. We get busy, you know, helping out your family and other things that we get busy doing, and sometimes we just are not available when we could be more available. We block out some time just to get together with those around us and, you know, meet up with someone for snacks or lunch or whatever. Just be there. Because, you know, it's that Christ in us, the hope of glory. What are you going to do with your 2022? Sounds like a gun, doesn't it? But, sister, if you come back to the music, please. Like, God has given us a gift. And like I said, this year, a lot of people didn't get this year. This gift, they didn't get. So what are you going to do with it? How are you going to give Jesus the gift, the unspeakable gift that God gave you? How are you going to give it to somebody else? Because you can take all you can from Jesus and give it away, and Jesus will just keep filling up that hole inside you so you have more to give. Because God is so good like that, and He understands, and He knows exactly what gift we have need of.